Discipline is often scoffed at. We want to be rebellious, non-conformists in life, mainly because all we want to do is what we want to do. The recent social change around the world has made the idea of doing what I want when I want accepted. And this is the biggest thing I observed in the pandemic. So, while we use one pandemic as a turning point for humanity, where we've challenged the way the world works and, how we live and how we look at our lives, some of it was really great. But my argument is that we shouldn't get carried away. Our brains often look at replicating an aha. And while time spent at home, isolated from everyone else, gave us a lot of time to question our lives, the way we live, and the way we work and the way we play, placing the same logic on everything would not be right. And just making an observation or one experience into a fact or diktat for the future is a risky proposition. In fact, the pandemic had actually taught us to do the exact opposite. Do not create universal truths or broad claims. Our world and us are dynamic. We must be adaptive, resilient, and not married to our own ideals. This is what the pandemic taught us. But what happened to us as a humanity? We did exactly this. We just came out with new ideals and new universal truths about the world. Some organizations even made promises for work from home forever. Many of them, most recently, you're seeing that they're having to eat that back. Because when things are normalized, now they're saying, hey, actually, office sometimes makes sense. It seems we'll never learn. But at the end of the day, humans will be humans. One of the other things that we made okay was living our life the way we want and not being so restricted with the rules and norms of convention. Great. But again, we got carried away. There was a reason why things were done the way they were for so long, and we broke every convention. We also broke whatever culture of discipline the society had. Our freewheeling lives without any rules laid the perfect groundwork for us to use the same as an excuse to be okay with the lack of regiment, rhythm, and discipline in our lives. The next big challenge the world will face is bringing a culture of discipline to the world. An undisciplined society in an already chaotic, unpredictable world can only lead to mayhem. It's going to be crazy. And the pandemic would have been a trigger to lead pandemonium and turmoil. Leaders are facing this and will face this in their organizations as well. A culture of discipline is brought in by habits, regiment, and rhythm. One of the reasons some of the biggest organizations are recalling their teams back to work is for habit, regiment, rhythm. Every change brings good and bad. The good was the fact that we were able to challenge some poor existing norms that we had, which stayed as a rule until the pandemic happened. But the bad was that we also made indiscipline okay. There's a balance that we must strike. On one hand, we must not follow anything blindly. We need to challenge everything, and we should be more mindful of things that happen in the world. But on the other hand, we must continue to build patterns, a cadence, and be somewhat okay with embracing monotony to a degree. Basically, the way we balance is to ensure we do not lose out on our culture of discipline as we embrace our culture of free will. Something to think about.